Welcome to Cruise News Central with Joseph.
So it's the first night of our cruise. I sit down to a main dining dinner with my wife, and I start thinking about how absolutely unprepared budget car rental was when we needed to rent a car earlier in the day. We're doing a back-to-back cruise, and we needed to get from Port Canaveral in Orlando down to Port Miami. We got to the budget place, the car rental place, and there were people everywhere. There's so many people there. There must have been 150 people either trying to return a car or rent a car. And there's only 3 employees working. It was insane. It actually took us 4 hours to rent a car. We were only in the car for 3.5 hours. So we ended up standing in line longer than what it took to drive from Orlando to Miami. Anyway, needless to say, it was an exhausting day, and I'm kind of just zoning out at dinner. And all of a sudden, I hear from across the table my wife say, "You're not even listening to me, are you?" And I thought to myself, that's a strange way to start a conversation. Well, we have a cruise line that hasn't been listening to its customers either. Let's roll the story. Carnival Cruise Line will not be broadcasting the U.S. presidential inauguration on its ship's big screens. Carnival brand ambassador John Heald responded to a question about this, reassuring passengers that they would be able to watch the event from the televisions in their staterooms. Carnival says that their decision is not political, but just an effort to avoid conflicts that can arise from strong political opinions among diverse passengers on the ships. It was also pointed out that they have never shown a presidential inauguration. What do you think? Should they show important political events on cruise ships? In our next story, one of cruising's most well-known personalities was ruthlessly and directly insulted by one of his followers. Not everyone knows this, but overweight people don't generally like being reminded of it. This person actually went on to suggest a diet plan. Let's roll the story. Popular cruise influencer, Carnival brand ambassador John Heald was ruthlessly insulted by a hangry commenter this week. The diet-raged commenter bluntly told Heald that he was fat, then went on to suggest that he needs to join Weight Watchers and take steps to change his eating habits. The over-the-top health nut wanted to know why cruise lines don't hold Weight Watchers meetings on all their cruise ships, and how she struggles to find fresh fruits and vegetables on Carnival sailings. Heald responded to the insult with a self-deprecating joke and argued that there actually is a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables as well as a vegan menu on the ships. Many commenters came to Heald's defense, telling this diet fashionista to kick rocks and to start her own meetings if that's how she wants to spend her cruise vacation. I haven't even mentioned yet the most bizarre cruise news story you're likely to hear. It's a case of mistaken identity so wild, it's really kind of hard to believe the explanation. You do not want to miss this one. But first, we need to cover the fact that cruising to Mexico might soon be a thing of the past. Let's roll the story. Taking a cruise vacation just got more expensive, and the additional money you pay will go to fund Mexico's military. Mexico's Congress went ahead and passed a $42 tax on every cruise ship passenger that stops at one of its many ports. That means if a family of 4 is taking a cruise to Mexico, they will be paying an extra $168 in addition to the current taxes and fees, just to visit Mexico. This tax means that Mexico now has the most expensive cruise ports. This change is not only going to hurt cruise passengers and cruise lines, but it will hurt the thousands and thousands of workers at Mexico's ports and travel destinations that are sure to see a huge decline in tourists. Not cool, Mexico. Every day, there's new tips, tricks, and hacks videos being put out for cruisers to make their vacations as good as they can possibly be. But not all these tips and tricks videos are created equal. Here's what not to do in your stateroom. Let's roll the story. Cruise vacation tip videos showing so-called hacks to enhance safety in your stateroom have been called out as actually making your cruise vacation way more dangerous. Several social media videos showing ways to make your stateroom door practically impenetrable are getting millions of views. The would-be safety videos show things like using coat hangers, stuffing towels under the door latch, and using stateroom chairs to block entry into the room. These paranoid cruisers have not considered all angles of their strategy. What if they had a medical emergency and needed assistance from the crew? What if there's a ship emergency and they need to exit their stateroom quickly? You don't want to have a chair, a towel, and hangers standing in your way of getting out. Cruise staterooms come with a deadbolt lock for when you're in the room, in addition to the lock you use to gain entrance. What do you think? Is it a good idea to barricade your door when you're on a cruise? Norwegian Cruise Line brought in some new talent as CEO a couple years ago, and he has been making some changes. He has convinced himself that what cruisers want is less choices when it comes to food and entertainment. Let's roll the story. Norwegian Cruise Line is making big changes as its new CEO enters his second year. NCL's new direction includes pledging $5 billion towards new ships and refurbishments for NCL and its other luxury lines. Explaining how he differs from the previous CEO, Harry Sommer points out that he has made the main dining dinner menu smaller with less choices, and that based on customer feedback data, he believes this is something the cruise passengers like. Another change is that the company, like many others, are focusing more on technology, such as rolling out a new cruise app last year and getting ready to launch a new website. He feels these changes are enhancing the cruise guest experience. NCL has also been in the news lately for canceling many cruises, causing passengers to have to completely rethink and replan their entire vacations. Despite these inconveniences, NCL Cruises continues to grow in demand, and the company continues to become more and more profitable. Just when you've thought you've seen it all, a new cruise news story comes out that makes it so you can't believe your eyes. Snow cone, anyone? Let's roll the story. Cruise ship passengers were horrified when they saw what they thought was members of the white supremacy group, the KKK, walking around the Lido deck in white outfits with masks covering their face and tall-pointed hats on a P&O cruise recently. The explanation from the cruise line is that some of the staff members were dressed up as snow cones. The Ku Klux Klan is a white supremacist hate group in the U.S. Members are recognizable by a distinctive all-white robes and pointed mast hoods. P&O Cruises Australia said in a statement, "We regret if a recent incident on Pacific Explorer cruise offended any guests. Several crew members dressed up as snow cones for a Christmas family event, not understanding how their costumes could be misconstrued. The crew members were horrified and extremely apologetic when they learned of the distress their outfits could cause. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? Were the crew members really trying to dress up as snow cones? Or is this a cover-up of more nefarious intentions?" You know what I always love at the end of a video? Bonus content. Check it out.
So if you make cruise content on social media, it's imperative that you make a video where you're walking up the cruise ship ramp, about to get on the ship and say, "It's embarkation day." There you go. It's embarkation day.
There is nothing quite like walking over that little ramp and onto a cruise ship adventure. This was our first time on the Carnival celebration. The first thing you see is this huge 3-level epic open-air theater. You hear the sounds of steel drums playing in the distance and the smells of fresh coffee from the Java Blue Cafe just around the corner. Going through embarkation process works up an appetite, so we headed up to the buffet to grab a quick bite. After that, our room was ready, so we checked it out, dropped off our bags, and then joined in the fun at the sail-away party on the Lido deck. So before I go, check out this towel animal back here. It's a new animal invented by my wife. What do you think it looks like? If you like this cruise news episode, check out this other one that you're seeing on the screen right now. I'm sure you're going to love that one too. Always remember, no matter what destination you choose, no matter what cruise line you choose, adventure awaits.